All right, everybody, welcome back. Today's guest is Keith Gillispie, a Marine vet. Thank you for your service. He's an investor in 34 states and the creator of REI Automated, a system that helps real estate investors close faster with less effort. He's not here to give you the fluff. He's here to break down the top 3 ingredients that you must have to build a business that actually works. Just like you can't bake a cake without the core stuff. So you can't build wealth without these 3 things. So if you're missing even one of them, you're wasting your time. Education that adapts, systems that collapse time, and support that catches your blind spots. Let's go. Welcome to the Closers Club.
I'm doing amazing.
How are you?
Thanks for having me, David. Appreciate it, man.
Let's do it. So today we're going to talk about the top 3 ingredients necessary to succeed. Let's jump right into it. What is number 1?
So I wouldn't even call them the top 3. I would say that they're the essential 3. And I say that because nothing more, nothing less. These are the 3 that are absolutely essential. And so I was telling Hannah, right before this, last week was my wife's birthday. And so we were going to make a cake, right? Well, to make a cake, you have to have flour, you have to have eggs, you have to have sugar. I don't know what else you have to have because I'm not the one who made the cake. But you have to have these essential ingredients. Otherwise, the cake's going to come out all wonky, right? And so as I was thinking through this, I said there's 3 things that absolutely have to be present in a real estate investor's business for them to be successful. And number 1 has to be education. It has to be the 6 inches between your ears. And I tell people, like I invest in M&Ms, not the candies, but mindset and marketing are like the biggest things for my person is my mindset. For my business is marketing. And for your person, that education, I think that a lot of people are really feeling the squeeze right now in our market when it comes to how hard the wholesaling is and how hard the market is going down. And I hear it, right? We've got 400 people that we're looking at their data and it's like, oh, wow, this is really interesting. You have to have the right education. And if you're a one-trick pony, you only have one entrance strategy, one exit strategy, dude.
Right. So let's talk about that a little bit because the education, the world is so different from when I started. When I started, it was literally maybe there was a webinar, like one webinar every single Wednesday. There was like 1 or 2 people with a YouTube channel. Now there's a lot of us out here, putting out as much information as you can. So I think there can be some overwhelm for people, and how do they zero in on exactly what they should do? Should I try to figure it out on my own free? Should I get a coach? Should I join some of these masterminds, Facebook groups? Like there's so many different options for people. What do you recommend?
I don't think that there's a right or wrong way. Obviously, if money is high and time is low, paying for a coach is super important. If money is low and time is high, well, then sure, I guess you could sift through all the YouTube videos, find somebody who you really click with. But I think that finding somebody who, Rock Thomas used to be my life coach. I don't even think that he's the one who said this, but he taught me like success leaves clues. So find somebody who's in the position that you want to be, who's walked the path that you would like to walk, who has a successful, they've cleared the brush for you, if you will. I think that that's important. And having the right education, they're going to teach you not some theory, but practical application. Here's what I've done. Here's the right entrance strategy. Here's the right exit strategy. Here's whatever sort of marketing is going to be best for you. Having the right education. I would want to.
Yeah, I agree. And there is so much information out there that the great thing is it's easy to search. You can literally go out there and look for the one little piece of information you're looking for. But ultimately, having a coach that you're paying where you're getting that one-on-one attention, that's what I think really accelerates the growth out there. But you call education the first ingredient. What do we say to, investors where, as you talked about, the market was dropping, like where the strategies that you did even a year ago or 2 years ago aren't
Yeah.
working the same way, right? Like what do we
Right.
do in this shifting
Well,
market?
I just got done with 2-hour office hours with all of our clients, and this was actually a
Mhm.
topic of discussion. So, law of recency was, the
Nice.
switch from wholesale to novation probably started about a year
Mhm.
ago, where we're seeing all this legislation and stuff
Sure.
come down. Well, if you already
Yeah.
know, where the tides are turning or where the breeze is blowing or however you want to say it, like you should
Mhm.
probably adapt. You should probably change with that. Otherwise, you're going to become obsolete and you have a shelf life. Your information, your limited information is going to have a shelf life if you don't learn that. So I think that that's just one example going from wholesaling to novations. Also, I believe that as the market goes down, well, shoot, like if we're in a depreciating market, we should be holding on to assets. Whereas in an appreciating market, that's the time to be selling, right? So sell
Mhm.
high, even though people, oh yeah, that's
Mhm.
good.
There it
That's a good
is.
one. Also, when buy low, sell
Yeah.
high, people are like, "Oh, this isn't the time to acquire rentals." I
Mhm.
disagree on a fundamental level. Buy low, sell high. We should be
Mhm.
buying assets that we hold on to. We'll see them in 3 years, 5 years, 7
Yeah.
years, 10 years, or maybe not ever, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, as somebody who's been doing this for 22 years, and I've been through a couple of different market cycles, certainly the big one in,
Yeah,
08, 09. I don't think we're in this
right.
massive swing. I think, it's a little bit more
Yeah.
of normal times, which, because they saw that hyperactivity a couple of
Yes.
years ago, this feels like the doldrums, but it's really not that bad. But I do believe that we're
Yeah.
near the bottom,
Yep.
right? The Fed's talking about, dropping rates, and that's going to spur and
Yep.
hopefully kick us back up. But when people look back, this is the time
I
when they're going to go,
wish.
geez, I sure wish I'd have bought 100
Yes.
more houses right then. Right. Like this is the time. So if you're watching this, like if you ever said like, oh, those guys are so lucky, they bought all those
Right.
properties back then. Like this is it. You are living in that moment. Now you need to be out there
That's right.
buying these properties. You need to be getting the education and learning how to buy them, whether it's sub two or getting owner financing or, getting private money. Like now is the time to be on that bandwagon or
Agreed.
you're going to miss out. And these times only come across every 5 to 7 years, sometimes every
Yeah.
9 years. So,
Now's the
you're
time.
going to miss
And
the boat.
having the
Yeah.
education, if you don't know how to do it sub two,
Yeah.
you're screwed. If you don't know how to pitch owner financing,
Yeah.
you're screwed. If you can't raise private money,
Mhm.
again, we're missing that key
Yeah.
element.
Yeah. And 100%, and learning all of those strategies for acquisition are important because we need to be able to take those and apply them to
Yep.
every seller situation because they're all going to be different. There's not one
That's right.
strategy that you could just shoehorn into every
That's right.
freaking deal. So, awesome. So we definitely talked about education. We
Yeah.
could talk about that for hours. But number two, what's the second thing that investors need to know and
It's
be
going to be
implementing right
having the
now?
right systems in place. If you have all the right education, but you don't
Got
have a
it.
system, you don't have a tool, you don't have a
Hmm.
resource, then you're just, book smart. You're not street smart. You can't have any practical application.
Right.
And so one of the things that I teach our clients, hey, I told you that speed to lead is super important, and I told you that you need to be going. We call it crazy
Hmm.
ex-girlfriend. You need to be calling these sellers. You need to be consistent. That's all headspace. That's all wonderful knowledge. But then here's the
Yeah.
system. Here's the CRM that tracks your speed to lead. That tracks if you're getting we call it a big check every single day, calling every single
Hmm.
seller every single day. Here is the system that tracks whether or not
Yeah.
you're multi-dialing these folks. I taught you how to put a property under contract. Now here's the purchase and sales agreement. I taught you how to talk to a seller. Now here's the
Nice.
script that we follow. I taught you how to analyze the deal. Now
Hmm.
here's the deal analyzer. And when you put those systems in place, you collapse time. You create efficiencies, so you can get a lot more done in a short
Hmm.
window of time.
Right. So I love that systems are incredibly important. But one thing I always caution people about is they get so in love with
Hmm.
building out the system that they don't actually
Yeah.
go
Oh,
do the
good.
thing. Right.
Yeah.
Tom
Revenue in
Tom
first
Kroll, our
position.
friend, he says revenue in first position. And I've also heard, show me somebody who knows everything about their
Oh,
CRM, and I'll show
that's
you
right.
somebody who's not doing any
That's
of
right.
this. Right. So I'm always very cautious because I have a company built on systems, right? With
Yep.
20 something people. There's SOPs
Yeah.
freaking galore.
Yeah.
There's no shortage of them. And, I'm lucky I have an amazing partner. And one of the things that she does, because I have a million ideas, is she really throttles back, hey, do we really need that? Is there
Yeah.
enough upside to implementing this whole new checklist of things that our people have to do, and is that
Right.
taking them away from,
Yes.
serving our clients? So yeah, I mean, thoughts kind of on that, and where, where that should
Dude, I
start and
super
stop in your
agree. And
business.
and I'm in a really unique position where I actively invest still today. I actively invest in real estate,
Hmm.
but I also own REI Automated. And so I have to think about it from
Yeah.
both the user as well as the developer. And it's really cool. I
Hmm.
enjoy that unique, I don't know, adaptation that I have to create where I focus truthfully, I focus on totally different things. And I have to kind of take this hat off. I have to take the crown hat off and put on the REI Automated hat. But it allows me to have a lot of fun
Uh-huh.
because I get these ideas and I also get requests from our users that are way smarter than I am and doing more deals than I am, frankly. Hey, it would be
Hmm.
good if I could do that. And I'm like, that's a dope
Hmm.
idea. It's not fleshed
Yeah.
out. And if we just ran with that, honestly, terrible idea. We would go
Hmm.
100%
Yeah.
like we're 90 degrees off from the path that we're supposed to be going on if we want to make money. And so
Hmm.
it's a lot of fun saying, "Yes, we're going to do that, and we're gonna keep revenue in first position
Hmm.
by doing this."
Yeah.
Oh, and that when I get that idea,
Hmm.
it's like, "Oh, that gets me excited. That gets the juices flowing," because it
Yeah.
makes more people more money super fast and almost instantaneously too. We can track it
Right.
amongst our users. This was the launch
Hmm.
date for whatever it was. When did they start making money
Sure.
from that? That can be directly attributed.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think it takes some discipline to not follow every shiny object, and us as investors, typically we're
Yeah.
visionary type people, so we have a million ideas that just never stop, and you cannot implement every single one. For me, I will make a to-do list, and I'll try to
Yeah.
rank things like what is the thing that's going to give me the biggest bang for my buck, so that I'm not, just spending, constantly falling in love with the tweaking of the business
Yes.
instead of the running
Elon
it.
Musk's has a saying, a really short clip that I constantly recite to myself. He says something to
Mhm.
the effect, I'm going to butcher it, but something to the effect of an
Yeah.
engineer's, the worst thing that an engineer does on a regular business
Yes.
is perfect something
Mhm.
that should never have been created in the
Right.
first place. Oh, how true.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
get some deals done.
Yeah.
And as you're getting deals done, once you have
Yeah.
money, now we can create
Mhm.
efficiencies, be more effective, collapse the time, do it faster and
Right.
better. Because again, what gets tracked and measured can be improved. If you don't have it, if you don't have any tracking in place,
Mhm.
how can we? I don't care what your
Yeah.
feelings are. Like feelings are not facts. Track the
Mhm.
numbers, and then we can
Yeah.
improve them. So there has to be a
Mhm.
blend of both.
Right. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I love that. Definitely, you have to have some KPIs, and then you have to take those things and actually look at them
Yeah,
weekly and and evaluate them. And sometimes you got to be a little tough on yourself. And some people really struggle with that,
yeah,
or tough on your team and say, "Hey, we agreed to this. Did we get this done? If not, why not? Like this is what's expected. We need to do that." And if you're a team of one, then
yeah.
you have to have that
Oh, and that's
conversation in the
something that
mirror
I
sometimes.
personally I struggle with it because it's like I feel that I'm doing really good, or I feel like I'm doing well. Again, we have to
Yeah.
take our emotions, we have to take our feelings out of it. Again, we don't care what
Hmm.
our emotions are. Let's
Yeah.
look at the brass tacks. Let's look at what the numbers state.
Yeah. See, I'm the opposite.
Oh,
Whatever I've accomplished, it's never
oh
it's
yeah,
never
yeah, yeah.
enough. I'm
Sure.
that weird Catholic guilt from New England. Like, no matter what I did, I'm always, that's great. What are we doing
Yeah,
tomorrow? Let's do that. All right,
yeah, cool.
let's keep moving. Keep the number three thing that you need to have in your business
You
to make
have to
sure that you're
have the
successful.
right support. And this is something that I particularly see an issue with in men because we're super
Mhm.
like take it from the Marine, super masculine, like I'm really strong and
Yeah.
buff and I lift weight. Dude, at the end of the day, like we have to have good people in our corner to not only
Yeah.
encourage us and
Yeah.
support us, but they're going to help with the education. They're going to be the ones that put you in check and give
Mhm.
you, give you the things that you need to hear rather than what you want them to say and tell you like, dude, you're erring. You're going down the wrong path. Here's what's going to happen. Here's what you
Right.
need to change. So I think that having the right
Mhm.
support, whether that be a mentor or a community, you cannot
Mhm.
do it alone. Entrepreneurship is hard. Real estate is hard. We've got to have some people in
Sure.
our corner for when the times get tough.
Yeah, I think it's incredibly important to have a tribe as embark on this journey. If you're just doing it by yourself, sitting at your kitchen table, just taking phone
Yeah.
call after phone call where people say you suck, and you got to go through 50 of those to get to one good one, that person that you can help. Yeah, that's tough. So I agree. Having that just group of support or tribe or whatever you want to call it around you is going to help. But how important do you think it is for, investors or whoever's doing whatever, even if it's not real estate, to just ask
Oh
for
my gosh.
honest
Yeah.
feedback? Because sometimes that can be a little hurtful. Also you can go to the other extreme and like always like, just beat me, just tell me where
Yeah.
I'm screwing up. But yeah, I mean, you've got to get that honest feedback. You can't be in baby society now, wants to
Oh,
coddle people
so
a little bit,
soft.
but that's not going to help you get ahead. That's not going to make you 11 out of 10. That's not going to make you, the
Yep.
top
I
1%.
agree. Patrick Precourt.
Yeah.
We recently had a call, and
Yes.
and it's like, man, you
Mhm.
have to have the person who will give you the feedback
Mhm.
that you need, and
Yeah.
and that comes not from the feedback, but it really comes from the questions and the guiding process. Oftentimes,
Yeah.
it's the questions themselves.
Mhm.
You're like, oh
Yeah.
snap, like you don't even have to tell me. I heard that come out of my mouth. I yeah.
Sometimes you're trying to pull it back in. You're like, no,
No,
too late.
yeah,
I already
I
sound
see
like
where
an
you're
idiot.
going here. I
Yeah.
see where these questions are going. That's super, super
Mhm.
helpful. Having somebody who has the ability to teach, to lead.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Mhm. Yeah, 100%. We can all do better. If you want to be the best, then you have to be coached and approach things, like you're the best. So, awesome. I love those three things. Definitely, making sure that you have the right education, crucial, right? That's going to help you make all of the decisions. Having great systems, things that you can apply that education towards, and then finding that right support, whether it's with a coach or a mentor or a tribe. There are definitely ways to accelerate those things.
Yep.
For me, it's always been hiring a coach or paying a mentor, and I've spent hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars like you over the
Yep.
years trying to do that, because we're trying to shorten the curve, right? We always want to compress time as much as we can.
And at the end of the day, that's going to it doesn't like I'm a huge believer that I don't really care what the cost
Mm-hmm.
of hiring the coach is, because
Yeah.
the value will far outweigh the cost.
Sure.
Yes, it's $60,000 per year,
Mm-hmm.
but how much am I going to get out
Right.
of that? Well, you're probably going to stop losing as much money as you are. You're probably going to start making 10 times the amount of money that you paid
Yeah.
that person. Otherwise, they're not doing a good job.
Right. And I've learned by paying the wrong person too. There was a learning.
Oh, yes.
There was some education in that as well.
As have I. Yeah.
Yeah. Just last year, I paid somebody $10,000 for a mastermind that never happened, and cannot seem
Oh.
to get my $10,000 back, no matter
Oh,
how
no.
hard I try.
Yeah. Okay.
I've done everything I can to not put that person on blast on social media, but
I have, yeah, I've paid somebody. I don't actually remember how much I paid, but I was coached the wrong way and made a mistake, and that mistake ended in litigation, and that litigation is costly. So I'm paying stupid tax, right? I'm paying. You didn't do due diligence. You made a decision. Oh, but he told me to. Well, if somebody tells you to jump off a cliff, you're gonna follow him.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of like, man, hindsight 2020. At the end of the day, it's a lesson well learned, and I'll never make it again. I'll never make that mistake again.
Yeah, that's true. I know last time you were in, we had talked about you had some free stuff for people. I'm going to throw it on the screen here, but it's kind of a long.
Oh yeah, I'll make a
kind of a long one there. You need to get yourself a shorter URL, but this will be in the chat and in the show notes. Talk a little bit about like what's there and what people can find.
Cool. So I have 12 different courses. Not all of them are available there. Those are the 8 courses that are more or less like a good introduction to me, a good introduction to ARIA Automated.
Nice.
You can choose any one of those 8 courses. Some people will, hey, I don't really know about marketing. Choose the marketing course. I don't know much about sales and negotiation. Choose that one. If I'm doing deals virtually and I'm scared to do deals virtually, we'll do the deal analysis one. So on and so forth. Raising private money is another one. KPIs is another one. So we have 8 different courses that's designed for you to choose one. Like what do you suck at essentially?
Yeah.
What is your core constraint? What is in alignment with your goals that you need to focus on right now? Choose any one of them. They're 100% free for anybody who's in David's community.
Nice.
And you don't have to hop on a call. There's no switcheroo. It's also not some crappy 2 or 3 hour, like no action items are given. It is a whole entire course that people have paid me hundreds, if not thousands, depending on the course that you choose. Have paid me a lot of money to go through. So choose your core constraint, get whichever one feels right for you.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much, as always, just bringing the value and just dropping bombs. What's the best way for people to follow you, to kind of get into your little world and hear all things Keith Gillispie?
It's going to be Facebook or YouTube. Just my name, Keith Gillispie. Gillispie spelled Gillispie. And Facebook and YouTube is going to be the best place to find that.
Awesome. All right. Again, thank you so much, man. It was great chatting with you.
Thank you, brother.